Hi, everyone. We're here to talk with Miranda Brist, also known as Randy Jo Brist,
or RJ,
about her world history class.
I'm also the assistant director at Mid-Metro with my mother, who is the director.
And I am Rebecca Hope.
Yes. So I have been teaching at Yay. I've taught 4 different years. I've taught geography 4 years. I taught AP Human Geography for several years, and I taught a Modern World Civilizations for several years. And then in between that, I was continuing my education, taking Asian languages at the U of M, and then for a while I left the country to do my master's in South Africa. Last year I returned for good, for now, for good. And I got my master's in migration studies with a focus on citizenship education. And so since I've been back, I've been teaching world geography again at Yay, as well as a college human geography class for Concordia.
And you love world cultures and history.
Yes, my earliest memories are getting obsessed with different countries, like saying I wanted to go to Bolivia when I was 7 and teach. And pretty much I've run the gamut. Like I've learned a lot of, I've spent a lot of time in different countries, and I've studied a lot of different languages, and I'm just like a huge world culture and geography nerd, and I'm also a huge history buff, and I'm also very passionate about like innovative educational strategies that don't rely on traditional face-to-face lecture formats.
And that's what you're doing in this class. So tell us a little bit about your approach to world history that you'll be doing in this class.
Yes. So basically, I don't like to use textbooks. There's a place for that. But when it comes to world history and world geography, I don't think students really learn that well from textbooks, the majority of them. And my experience was when I was growing up, I took about 4 years of a living history class where I got to act out the events of the past, like literally with my fellow students.
Yep.
I got to do plays based on historical events. We were assigned different figures from history and we had to act as them, like for example different Greek philosophers. We got a history of values and worldviews from that, which is really important to me, because that is all about people's motivations, and our motivations and our beliefs and our values drive history and they drive our future.
So history is more than just memorizing dates and wars that happened.
Right. So and it's also more about than the history of individuals. So it's not just about kings and famous warriors and even famous writers. Sometimes it's about mass movements, like the Christian Reformation was a mass movement as much as it was about specific figures who were writing about the changes that they felt needed to happen in the church. It was also just a popular movement, and without those people, the average person on the street and what they thought and what was mattered to them, we wouldn't have the world we have today.
Exactly. So will people so they're not going to read textbooks. How are they going to learn?
Okay, so what we do is I do a flipped classroom model. And if you don't know what that is, it's perfect for the MMA model. And what it is the student gets content that they have to engage with during the week before class. When they get to class, they have already done those assignments, and they've already had a certain engagement with the material, whether it's a period of time, or in the world geography case, it's a place in the world. And then when they get to class, they have an opportunity to engage with those concepts socially and sort of explore those concepts with their peers, and also interact with me and really like interrogate that material. And it's an opportunity for it to come alive. So with the history class, like instead of just reading about like a feudal manor, for example, if we're talking about the Middle Ages, they will get a chance to design their own feudal manor and build a miniature castle with their fellow students.
Okay, that's cool.
Right. So it's that type of thing, and they'll have a chance to engage with historical politics, and they'll have to be different figures in history, or they may have to figure out how they may have to map historical battles, or migration patterns, or commerce. Like there was in the ancient world, there was a lot of global commerce, and we don't think about that.
So this sounds like it's going at people who learn in a lot of different ways.
Yeah, so it's a multimodal learning experience. I'm also, I think every student should be engaged with on an individual basis to figure out how they best learn. And I think assignments need to be tailored to students. So for one, I don't think that at this stage, my classes are not meant to teach extensive reading skills or writing skills. So if a student already has those, great. But I really am interested in them being able to demonstrate their critical thinking and engagement with key concepts. But there are a lot of ways for them to do that through projects, through interaction with their peers, with me, and other types of activities. And even just answering the Q&A projects that we do. It gives me an idea of whether or not they're comprehending the material and they're able to really answer questions, but it doesn't mean that they have to write well. And I think that's really important because a student shouldn't have to be able to read and write at a very high level to understand history. It's really about getting into the minds of people in the past, kind of understanding continuity and change between eras. So anyway, in my class, if a student has a specific issue, if they have difficulty reading, what I will generally, or writing, and it's even a bigger issue than like my general assignments can help them deal with, then we will just individualize it even more, and they can do alternate assignments. Every person is at a different place. Like I'm very good at spatial memory. I, however, do not have a great memory for certain math problems. So it's just kind of like everybody has their skills. My mother is very good at grammar. I can speak and write with grammar, but the actual mechanics of it is hard for me to explain. So everybody's got their strengths and weaknesses, and everybody's got their struggles and also their personal home struggles that happen, right? Like people have different things going on in their lives, like different struggles, and that affects what they can achieve.
What you're going to do at school, or what you're going to be able to complete in any given week or so on.
And also they should be able to bring that with them, and that shouldn't be looked down upon. Like if they're having anxiety, that's fine. Like I do my best to help with that. But it's also something good for their peers to understand that they need to be able to work with people, and we don't have to, hide this, and it doesn't have to be something they're ashamed of or like negatively impacts their assignments. If they need 2 more weeks to complete something, I give extensions constantly because I'd rather read something or engage with an assignment that they had time to really grapple with and that they weren't doing late at night when they were super stressed. I'd much rather engage with that than I would with, like something that was just hacked together and pasted together. And for me, it's all about them getting like a little bit of the like obsession with these concepts. Like I want them to, we're talking about world history and world geography. That's like covering almost everything in the world potentially that's ever existed. Right. If you can't find something interesting there, then I'm doing something wrong, or you're doing something wrong. So there's also an opportunity in so many of my projects just that I assign is just for them to find something they're interested in and run with that. Because I'm not interested in making them like something that they find incredibly boring and keep like shoving it at them. If they're not going to like it, they're not going to like it. But hopefully we can find an angle that's interesting to them.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like a great class. It sounds like something for everybody, and it sounds like fun and something that students will remember, something that one of those classes that they're going to take with them and just it's going to keep coming back with them and stay with them.
And color hopefully how they see the world in a good way. I'll be able to like really understand the links between the different like parts of society that may not have made sense before. So yeah, I'm really excited to teach it, and I hope that you sign up.
Okay, thanks for listening.